I'm sharing ways you can start making money right now, like literally after watching this video. This will take you one step closer to financial freedom. But here's the problem. Nowadays here on YouTube, you can find a whole lot of videos of how to make money online, or as a young person, or as a teenager, or how you want to put it. But the thing is, they all talk about the same thing, like how you have to start drop shipping or drop servicing, or something that actually has to do with AI or something of those things. But every one of those things has a common barrier. You might even feel that there's no way to start making money as a teenager without having a bank account or a credit card, which, spoiler, you have to be above 18 to have those. But don't lose hope. It's all about finding the right path and making it work for your particular situation. Let's have a look at these two pages. What do they have in common? This is iShowSpeed, and this is a iShowSpeed fan page or theme page, whatever you want to call it. iShowSpeed has 30 million followers, while this page has a measly 34,000. What this fan page does is cultivate a community of people that like iShowSpeed, but in that they have particular tastes. What happens is most people can, and this depends from person to person, but most people can leverage this, grow the page to like 100, 200,000 and sell it, sell it to someone who's willing to pay like 50,000. Yeah, I don't know about that, but it's possible. Realistically talking, like 2,500 or 5,000 to have the page. And what they do is just change the name, change the picture, delete all the previous posts that they did as speed, and then you just all of a sudden are following someone that you don't know how, but it's popping on your feed. So just a PS, this is also how I used to make money when I was around like 16 years old, and this was my first gateway to understanding like online business. So now let me give you some actionable steps you can take just so you can put this in progress. A good starting point is studying the fundamentals, and what I can suggest to you in a brief time that's more efficient to you and will lead you to success is studying via Heza. He was actually my starting point as well. Some of the things need to be up to date. If you have any questions, just let me know here in the comments or anything like that. I'll try to help you the most I can. Some of them I might go on to say them, to list them, but the other ones I might have forgotten, so let me know if you have any questions. Choose a niche. Now we were talking about a fan page, but there's a whole lot more niches that you could dive into. There's memes, there's services, there's a whole lot more I could list, but just pick something, and the first thing that interests you might be the best option for this thing. Second, you have to look for 3 to 4 pages that are already doing this and that have success. If you see that they're going viral and they have good engagement, that's a good telltale sign for you to continue with it. Then you want to start the page. Once you start the page, it's all fresh, and if you have watched the videos I suggested, those are the most crucial parts in which you have to build it up. And once you get that momentum going, that works like wonders. Another thing you must do is start posting like 3 to 4 times a day. That's the safe number. I found that I didn't get banned or I didn't get suspended, and whilst also producing quality and while going relatively viral at the first days. But as soon as I reached like the 3,000-ish range of followers, I started to get into the For You page more frequently. More posts started getting relevance, and it's a good starting point to stop doing follow for follow. That's the 5th step, I guess. So in the 4th step, you have to start posting, but doing follow for follow is the basis for you to get into like the 2K, 3K follower range. Depending on your niche, this might be slower, this might be faster, but this is the way I use with my clients and how I used to grow my pages up to like the couple thousands, 100,000s, and all that. And for the last one is monetize your growth. So as we said, there's a whole lot of ways you can go about doing this. You can DM people to buy your page, or the best way is waiting for them to make an offer. So that means they see value in your page. You can also run ads. That's a good way of making like 10, 15, 20, 50 bucks for a post, and it grows the more followers you have. And you can also sell services or sell products as well, like affiliate links, or you can start drop shipping. This isn't that type of video. At first glance, phone flipping might seem a bit intimidating, especially if you're not a specialist buying phones and repairing them with the end goal of selling them. However, with tons of easy to follow tutorials online on how you can fix this and fix that on phones, like fix a microchip or fix a camera lens, it's easier than it has ever been. So much so that one of these days I had a neighbor come over, and when he came over, he was so furious, man. He was babbling and he wasn't speaking clearly. I asked him like, hey, yo, what's up? And he was like, Epa, I was working and I asked my other neighbor's daughter to charge my phone. What happened was, when he got it back, it was all muted. Like, he couldn't hear nothing, no notifications. He was receiving calls, the touch was working, but he wasn't able to emit any sound. So he was stressing, and the colors were all desaturated, and it was all weird. What was supposed to be red was kind of a yellowish color, and for his mind, he was like, his phone was wrecked. His phone was broken, and he needed to buy a new phone and all those bad thoughts. So I couldn't bear to see him like that, so I asked to see the phone. And when I grabbed the phone, I just noted that the mute all sounds setting was turned on, and color correction was also turned on. And that was taking everything out of context, you know. As soon as I saw that, I saw the light bounce through his eyes, and he was like so grateful and all that. And I easily see myself in another situation, or if it was another person that I'm not that close with, charging them an easy 50 bucks, you know, to have that done. You want to start where we all start, learning the basics. You never have to like struggle with something that you don't have to put your mind into. If you're putting your mind into it, so it's not a struggle, it's a skill you're obtaining. So take it as a skill. Every video you watch, just picture it as something you're going to be doing. Then that takes you to buying your first phone. So you could buy it for real cheap. Most of the times, your mom, your dad, or your brother, your cousin might have one of those tablets or one of those phones stashed away somewhere collecting dust. Just ask for it. It might be broken, it might not. If it is broken, it's a good starting place. You can find out what is broken and actually practice on it. And what comes next is the most important, that's practice. So you have to practice with lower models. You have to practice until you're kind of know what you're doing with it, you know. And that brings us to the next. That would be reselling the actual phone. That's where you can list it on Facebook Marketplace. You can list it on eBay. You can list it on all these sites, but don't scam them. Repair it in a way that's functional and that you feel will work. If you get the reply like, oh, or you get a notification or a comment like, oh, yo, your phone is heating up and he tore a pocket on my tore a hole on my pocket. Yeah, just be happy to refund them, take it as an experience, and do better next time. Last but not least, document your process. This can take you to a whole other dimension, because when it's documented and you do something right and you face the same problem in the future, you'll know that, oh man, I did this that time ago, so let me just skim through my data, and you find the video and you find what's the fix. So you start developing a catalog, and you can actually be your own tutorials of what you did right, what worked for you, what models work best. Dedicating some time for software as well is also 10 stars. Like it will save you from a lot of things, because most clients might come with a phone that doesn't enable hotspot, for example, and the easiest fix is like just restarting the phone, or like putting airplane mode on and just turning it off, and you just do like or most people in this case just go to the back and just grab the phone, and just they make it like it's a big problem, like they have to open the phone, while they just leave it there. They say like come back in like 5 hours or 6, because this is serious. And once they come back, they just like forget about it, and when they remember that that's the client, they grab the phone, just put on airplane mode, put it off, and they give it back. Now all of a sudden the hotspot is working again, and since you fix the problem, now you can price it on whatever you want, like 200, 250. That's how people scam you, when it was something you could do on your own. So learning software is also a nice actionable step. This tip is very important, because this is the one that molded me to the man that I am today, and that would be studying your peers. Because being able to study what's working and who is actually prevailing on what they're doing in certain ways, like it changed me. I won't lie, it changed how I see things, it changed how I learned, it changed everything. I have a lot of skills now, I can do this, I can do that, but that's because I wanted to do everything. So now it makes me more versatile to do what I want to, and I'm in the process of figuring out what I want to do as well. And that's the thing, the journey never ends, but if it makes you money, just stick to it, because that's what I'm doing. Any question you guys might have, let me know, and let's get to the actionable steps of going on these. First, like research your peers, like know a bit of what you want to do. Do it for enough time so you can fail, but don't do it if you're not feeling it. If you feel like it's something you can't do for a year or something like that without making return on income that fast, it might not be something you want to invest in. But if it's something that doesn't take you a lot of effort, or if it's something that you might feel it's great for you, it might be beekeeping, it might be practicing football or being the referee, it might be something you might like. So practice how people that actually do those things gain money or gain value or live successful lives in their own shoes. Experiment with different things. Maybe you might like to do something, but it might be your hobby. You can also try some other thing that's kind of more particular to yourself. Track your progress. Most people do this by using social media. I use this by using photos. Yeah, I use Google Photos. So on each year, I have my particular photos that I take that mean something to me, and each photo has a meaning to me. So I take photos, I keep them there, and sometimes I get that pop-up like, oh yeah, this is a memory of 1 year ago, and I was like, oh Jesus, that was me 1 year ago. Like, look at where I am today. And nothing but being grateful is how you take the next steps to financial freedom. Also, joining communities of like-minded people might be the best. Having friends that think like you is the absolute best. Like having those talks and learning, because if you learn, he is going to learn as well. So it becomes information for two, you know? or information for each one. Like you both learn and you share the information. That's what I'm trying to pass to you. The most important tip I might give you is to be persistent. You have to learn that being successful takes time. It accumulates and grows over time with experience and dedication and persistence, practice. It takes time. So don't let anyone tell you that you're too young to build wealth.